Good morning and welcome to week 2 of distant learning. All right, 7th graders, I have a few comments for you on your homework assignment from dependent events. All right, first of all, when you're turning in work on Google Classroom, don't forget to hit turn in. All right, so just a few of you are still forgetting to do that. Also, when there is a video like this involved in an assignment, always watch the videos first, okay? It's going to make your assignment that much easier. And also, look for my private comments on Google Classroom, and you need to go back over and look over your work. So with that being said, I want to talk about some problems from each of the sections that you just did on dependent events. All right, so if you remember, these examples here were with these letters, and there were green letters and yellow letters, but I put the letters that were yellow, I put them in red here. There's no way you're going to be able to see yellow. So here's a couple of the problems. Number 19 said find the probability of an R and then an N. So that means you want to find the probability of pulling out an R. Well, there was only one R out of 7 letters, so that was going to be 1/7. Then you're not putting the tile back in. So when you pull the second letter, there are only 6 letters left. So you can think of it as covering up the R. And there are 6 letters left. And so pulling out an N has 1/6. Some of you are still just writing these two amounts down, and you're not realizing that the probability of this happening is 1/7, and the probability of that happening is 1/6. But the probability that those two events will both happen involves multiplying them together. All right, so the answer then would be 1/42. Okay, now that's a pretty easy one because we only have a 1 out of 7 chance for the first one, and then that tile is gone. But look at number 23, okay? We want the probability of an O, okay? Now look, there are 2 O's, so that's 2 out of 7. But you have to remember, even though there are 2 O's in there, we're only pulling 1 out. So on the next pull, one of the O's is still there. So you could think of it as crossing off one of the O's. You only picked one out, even though there was a chance. There you had 2 chances. Okay, so now the second one said of pulling out not a yellow. Well, in this case, I have my yellows as reds, so not a red. Okay, so there are 2 reds there, okay, but we want not a red. So there were 4 that were not red, okay, out of the 6 remaining. Okay, so 4 out of 6. Okay, so that's what some of you were still keeping that bottom number of 7. Some of you also thought that since there was a 2 out of 7 chance that you'd pull out an O, you're thinking that both O's are gone for the next pull, but they're not. Only one is gone. All right, so then the answer would be 8/42, which reduces to 4/21. So you can go back and look over that section. All right, the next section I had you work on involved the letter tiles R, A, D, A, R. Okay, so let me see if I can get this in your screen. There we go. Okay, so there were 5 letters there, R, A, D, A, R. The probability that you were going to pull out an R on the first pull was 2 out of 5. But then only one R was pulled out, and a lot of you are not realizing that. Some of you think both are pulled out, okay? So just one is pulled out, so you can think of it as these 4 left. So then to pull an A is 2 out of 4, okay? So you're going to multiply 2/4, and then that answer would have been 4/20, which reduces to 3/10. Okay? Pulling out an A and then an A. So the first time you pull out an A, you've got 2 chances out of 5. But only one A is being pulled out. So picture 1A missing. So the next time, there's only 1A in there out of the 4 remaining. So 2/5 times 1/4 is 2/20, which reduces to 1/10. Oh my gosh, I have to go back here. 4/20, oh my goodness, this was 1/5. My goodness, sorry about that. Okay, I was thinking it was 2/20. All right, so number 12, the answer was 1/5. Okay, now number 14, pulling out an R, like we said in the beginning. And by the way, each time you do one of these problems, all 5 letters are back in there. Okay, so pulling out an R is 2 out of 5. Okay, but then remember, just 1 is pulled out. And then of the remaining 4 that are left, we want to see what's the probability of not pulling out a D. Well, there's 1 D. There are 3 letters that are not D's, so that would be 3/4. And you can either reduce in the problem like we've been doing. So even if you want to reduce the 2 and the 4, then the answer would be 3/10. Or if you got 6/20, it would reduce to 3/10. Okay, so I'm hoping that some of you are watching this and you're going back over and looking at some of the problems we did. Finally, the last section had to deal with all the chess pieces. Okay, now I couldn't draw all those chess pieces. So what I did on my board here is I wrote out the letters of the first name of the pieces. So there was a king, a queen, 2 bishops, 2 knights, 2 rooks, and then 8 that were pawns. All right, so the first question, number 8. Oh, and by the way, on the assignment, I had this assignment written on there. On your document, I had page 415 instead of 416. So it was okay. Some of you did 415. Some of you realized that I really meant for you to do this, okay? But this was on page 416. All right, so pulling out a bishop, okay, on the first try, there were 2 out of 16. So I'm just going to put 2/16. I'm not going to reduce it yet because I want you to understand that 1 bishop got pulled out. So now on the next probability, there were 15 pieces there. Okay, so to pull another bishop out on the second pull, well, 1's gone from the first pull, and now there's 1 left out of the remaining 15. So it's 2/16 times 1/15, okay, and the answer was 2/240, okay, which reduces to 1/120. So number 8 was 1/120. Okay, next one, pulling out a king. Once again, there's only 1 king there out of 16. So 1/16. And then a queen. Well, let's think about this. The first tile we pulled out is gone, so the king is gone. So there's a queen, which would be 1 out of 15 remaining pieces. So that answer is also 1. That answer is 1 out of 240. Okay, so 1/240. All right, on the next one, we start over again with all 16 pieces again for each problem. All right, the probability of a king we know is 1/16. And then a pawn. Well, there were 8 pawns there, but since that king is gone, there were only 15 pieces. So 8/15. And if you want, you can reduce in the problem, and you will end up getting 1/30. Okay. The last one was a king, so 1/16, and then not a pawn. So let's just picture this, not a pawn. So the king is gone. We know that there are 8 that are pawns of the remaining, okay, but 7 are not pawns. So 7/15. So we would put 7/15, and this last answer would be 7/240. 7/240. Okay, so I'm hoping that that's helping with all of you. I can also tell that some of you are not watching the video because you are just putting the 2 fractions down there and you're not multiplying them. So please go back and look over that, and also look on Google Classroom for today's assignment. Thank you.